Hi everybody, happy Saturday and welcome to your latest unboxing video. So as some of you may know, I recently moved about 2 years ago from Byron Bay to Wollongong, and I have befriended a local tarot reader who has designed her own Lenormand card deck and left these in my letterbox yesterday to play with, she said, to play with. So they are a prototype. I'll put her name and links to her website and everything. Her name is Beck. It's Terra Loon, I believe, is her business, but I'll put links and everything. And yeah, they're a prototype, so they will be in a linen finish when they go to print. Just grab these. Yeah, they'll be in a linen, and she's ordered she's going to include a clear quartz for cleansing every time they're put back in the pouch. Plus she's working on a digital guidebook to go with them. Oh my gosh, I don't want to ruin them. Already I like how me and my minimalist mind's loving the white space. I'm loving the white spaces and the simplicity. Okay, so she wrote the cards for her own practice. She wanted a clean, stripped back format that still included the details she enjoys working with, like a clear card name and number, the pips, directionality, positive and negative neutral association. She just found most of the available decks to be more old-fashioned and often cluttered and missing one or more of the elements she likes. So this is the Lenormand deck that this is the only one I've ever had, to be honest with you. And I remember showing these to someone once and she was like, oh, so you bought them like all old schooly looking. I'm like, no, when I bought them, they were brand spanking new. This is just how much I've used them. They're that worn from me. It's just the first one I bought and it's the only one I've ever had. I really am a minimalist. Like I don't need another Lenormand deck. Like a lot of my tarot cards were gifts, yeah. So, but now I have to. Now I do. They are honestly, they are a little haggard. They're pretty haggard. And I just think it's good to try new things as well. And see what this, if I can ever open it, see what this deck has to teach me. So she found most of the available decks to be more old-fashioned. I already said that. She has two businesses, a jewelry and art business with retail spaces across the Illawarra, White Clay Mountain and Terra Loon, a spiritual science blend where she coaches, practices art therapy and does reflective card readings. I've got to get serious about this for a second. I actually have to really focus so I can get it off because it doesn't want to get off and I don't want to ruin the cards somehow. All right, I'll talk a bit about Lenormand while I'm doing this. So most of you are familiar with tarot, maybe not so much with Lenormand. So I got my first tarot reading in 2017 and went back the next day and bought a deck of tarot cards, and the minute I opened the little accompanying guidebook, I just had this feeling of knowing. I was like, I know this. I've known this forever. I've known this in other lifetimes. Like, it just was, I can't explain the intense attraction. I've never felt that way I felt that way about people, but not about a thing before. The attraction to it was so strong. It's supposed to be painful for you guys to watch. The attraction was so strong. I was completely obsessed with tarot from the minute I'm talking hours and hours I've spent in my room playing with them. So I'm probably not the best person to ask when it's like, oh, how do you learn tarot? I'm like, well, I have a borderline unhealthy obsession with it. So, yeah. So tarot is made up of 22 major arcana cards. It's made up of 4 court cards of 4 suits of each element and 10 minor cards of 4 suits of each element. So 78 cards in total, 22 major, the rest are minor, including 4 court cards. Okay, and they all have different meanings and tell a story. Lenormand has 36 cards to a deck. And they have court cards as well. They have queens, kings, and jacks. Queens, kings, and jacks. I believe there are there's no knights, are there? I think there's just queens and jacks. Yeah, there's a man, there's a woman. There's things in there that aren't in tarot, like mouse, bear. So, there's let me think. So there's about half the amount of cards as there is tarot, and it's sort of the same but sort of different. The way you lay out the cards is different. It's, in my experience, tarot is great for inner reflection, for introspection. Yes, it's a great tool for predicting the future. It's a great forecasting tool. And it's great for inner guidance. Lenormand will tell you literally what's happening for you over the course of a day. So, for example, you could draw mice, house, man. There could be a mice infestation in your house, and then a man, the exterminator whose man comes to fix it. That's how Lenormand, that's why I love Lenormand. Because you kind of, a very good, very smart, very savvy, very experienced tarot reader might be able to get that, but I don't know. It's the literalness of Lenormand that I love, that sets it apart from tarot. Tarot will always be my first love, always, and it's my main cards that I use. But Lenormand's pretty cool. Yeah, so mice is stress and worry. Yeah, and so you have the clubs. So it's more based on playing cards than tarot, which I believe was also originally based on playing cards. Well, it would have been, because you still got the kings, the queens, the knights, and the pages. Whereas here we've got king, queen, jacks. I don't think there's a female equivalent, yeah. Anyway, so in Lenormand, we've got clubs, spades, aces, and diamonds. Clubs and spades tend to be heavier energy. Aces and hearts and diamonds tend to be lighter energy. But yeah, Beck, look at the difference. She's right. What did she write? What did she say about... I just found I just found most of the available decks to be more old-fashioned, often cluttered, or missing one or more of the elements I like. Her mother encouraged her when she was a teenager. She bought her first tarot deck, books on numerology, astrology, palmistry, and more. She read tarot on and off since then, but had a spiritual awakening as she approached her 40s. She did psychic development and discovered Lenormand, and it was boom, coming home. Maybe it's her Germanic Dutch roots. She's a wife and mum, deeply connected to the Illawarra. She has 3 pets, a bearded dragon, a whippet, and an ex-racing greyhound. She's currently working on the final stages of the guidebook before deciding how she will release this deck, and a larger Lenormand deck as well. And it is called the Mindful Lenormand. It's called the Mindful Lenormand because it's a big oracle card size and has the card name and number, so still works as a basic Lenormand deck, but has a piece of advice and affirmation from each card. Does it? I don't see the advice and the affirmation. Am I missing something? Oh, maybe that's another one that she's working on. Maybe that's the larger one she's talking about. Well, this is beautiful. Oh, wow. Very, very, my minimalismness is loving this. And also, like, I love this and this. Like, I love how this is so worn out. I love how this is so worn and shredded. I mean, this is drenched in magic. Like, this is a portal and a half. Like, all the readings I've done for all the people over all these years, just with this one deck. And then to go to this beautiful new deck, it's like, oh, what do you have to show me? With your simplicity, with your beauty. Because I don't not look at the pictures on the cards. The pictures do affect things. These don't have the pips, though. That's interesting. They're beautiful. If you would like to buy them, I will put the information